Chapter 14, Illegitimate. Deep in Dracovia's legislative building, you, Tristan, and Lydia slip into Sebastian's office to investigate the contents of a foreboding manila envelope flush with royal secrets. You think Astrid killed Sebastian and Nadja? Astrid, who has the exact same alibi for Nadja's murder as you do? Lydia slaps the envelope on Bass's vacant desk, then begins to scour the room for any bugs. We both know how close the theater is to the palace, Tristan. Astrid claimed to arrive home minutes after Nadja's time of death, but she could easily have arrived with enough time to garrote her. Interesting point. You could have made it back in time too. Faster, but Nadja's death was sloppy. The kill and the scene. Maybe it was intentionally sloppy. The killer was trying to frame Tristan after all. And I know Tristan well enough to know that if he was ever murdered someone, it wouldn't be so violent. It'd be self-defense or an accident. Either way, I'd have orchestrated it so even you would have doubted him. Thank you. Astrid, however, is an idiot. I have trouble believing a garrote is Astrid's weapon of choice. Her arms are so small and bird-like. She knows how to use one. They're easy enough to keep in the purse. But the motive's unclear. Why would being your mother's love child cause Astrid to go on a murderous rampage? Astrid cultivates an image of someone to covet, a legitimate heir of Dracovia. It's the basis of her celebrityism. If word got out that she's a royal bastard, her currency of artists to torture dries up fast. Astrid would never allow that to happen. If Bass had discovered her illegitimacy, she'd have no hesitation of shutting him up. Astrid did see Nadja in the gardens that night, but Nadja's not an artist or even adjacent to Astrid's social circle. What motive could she have there? The act has brought our bloodline back into scrutiny. Nadja had a secret meeting with Bass that night. Bass knew the child's identity. And Juliana. Why would Astrid kill my fiancée? You found evidence Juliana unraveled the secret 8 years ago. Sounds like motives are related to me. It's plausible, but... what if Astrid isn't the illegitimate heir? What if it's you? Then we'll refocus, but given that Bass was planning to leak this at the time of his death, it's worth pursuing all possible suspects. You recall the delight in Astrid's eyes as she revealed Sebastian's meeting with Nadja in the garden that night. The very evidence that shot him to the top of your suspect list. Would Astrid really send us after Sebastian on purpose? Is she that smart? Surely it can handle Astrid littles. She's likely forgotten all about Gregor by now. She's certainly found a new mark, but she hasn't forgotten. If I come near her, she'll gouge my eye out with those long fingernails. If we want a DNA sample, you'll need to get close to her. I can't do that. What can you do? The blade of Lydia's royal dagger flashes as she whips it from its sheath. What? See where this goes. I don't think she's gonna do anything. Your fingers twitch, but you force yourself to watch as she raises the dagger to her palm, drawing the blade sharply against her skin. Blood wells in a bright red line. Is that a Dracovian blood pact or something? Before the blood can drip onto the carpet, Lydia pulls out a white embroidered handkerchief from a pocket and presses it to the wound. My DNA, as a show of good faith, have Webster run it against father's, along with Astrid's. She tosses you the blood-soaked handkerchief. You catch it with 2 fingers, holding it away from you. I feel like there was a less dramatic way to do this. Get over it, New York. If you need me, I'll be doing my job. I trust you'll be doing yours. She turns to the office door and closes it behind her. You and Tristan wait a beat before following suit. Tristan looks up and down the hall before letting out a long breath. Nothing about that interaction went the way I expected. Do you think Astrid's really behind the murders? I've always said that any of my siblings would be capable, but Astrid's lazy. I'm not saying she wouldn't, but I have to reassess my understanding of her. She has a lot of admirers and a fatal attraction kind of vibe. Agreed, I can see her leaking the code to our secret passage, if only just to hook up with some architect or woodworker. You sigh and take an evidence bag from your pocket, sealing Lydia's bloody handkerchief inside. It's a lead, but worth checking out, but I can't help but feel like Lydia's manipulating us. Almost certainly, but that doesn't mean she's lying, and playing along might give us a better opportunity to observe her. Then I guess we declare Operation the Queen's Baby Daddy officially underway. I appreciate your sensitivity in the matter. Lydia mentioned Astrid has a new mark. Do you have any ideas on how to get close to them? Actually, Chloe, I do. What are your thoughts on double dates? I feel like it's an opportunity to observe. We get a chance to grab the sample and subtly interrogate her. I am occasionally brilliant. He chuckles, pulling out his phone to make the call as you head back to the palace to prepare. A few hours later, you and Tristan call Ruby, Luke, Margaret into your room to update them on the situation. The Queen had a secret bow. How did she have something like that hidden from the internal records? I'm guessing she enlisted the Royal Guard's help the moment she felt the first flutter of attraction. Which is a train of thought I'd very much like to leap off of before it reaches its destination. I gotta say, I always thought Astrid was the scariest of your siblings. We know, babe. It hasn't been subtle. How did she react when you set up the date, Tristan? She was surprisingly thrilled, despite a lifetime of evidence to the contrary. She's always wanted to spend more time with me. Astrid does like being close to power, and you'll be king soon. So, everyone keeps telling me. Luckily, Chloe will be there to hold me down. Ruby looks at you with might be a knowing twinkle in her eye. So, you and Tristan are going to pretend to be a couple again. You seem to use that strategy a lot. Margaret flicks an amused glance at you, watching to see how you deal with the situation. We sure are, and we can make it convincing. How your chemistry is so good you could fool me into believing you're together. Good. Then we won't raise Astrid's suspicions. Don't mind Ruby. She has a theory that you and Tristan are secretly in love. A theory based in some evidence. Tristan's face is carefully blank as he straightens the front of his clothing. Circumstantial and insulting, I'm sure. Ruby shrugs with a smile, and you glance at Tristan, who is dutifully avoiding your gaze with a mildly disinterested expression. I'm afraid I've tried and failed on that front, Ruby. Chloe is much too good for me. If you're pretending to date, you both should look the part. Astrid's drawn to power and art, after all. And she can snuff out a facade a mile away. Margaret strides over to your closet, pulling the doors open to reveal a new Margaret Thorne original. It complements Tristan's formal well expertly. If you flaunt your good taste, Astrid will be easy to impress and easy to get close to, so you can grab some of her hair. We need every advantage we can get. We're so close to solving this case. Oh, it's very pretty. I like it. Tristan eyes you appreciatively as Margaret makes a few adjustments to the garment. Perfect. She'll want to eat you up. Lucky me. It's a good thing, even if she's guilty. She won't be able to help trying to impress you. But on the off chance it turns into a bad thing, here's another accessory. Luke hands you a familiar earpiece and passes one to Tristan as well. Ruby and I will set up at the cafe across the street from the restaurant. Listen in. You need any intel advice, whatever, we'll be there. The more you pretend to know whoever she drags to the table, the more important she'll feel. You sure you don't want to tag along, Max? You know a good deal more than we do. Margaret shakes her head tiredly. She has shadows beneath her eyes that even her makeup skills can't hide. Mom and Vasily were still up last night when I got home from the Morty. I stayed up to tell them about it, and we ended up talking about Bass until dawn. Were they okay with us doing the right without them? They were just happy that we paid tribute to him. I'll help with the investigation however I can, but first I need sleep. Can I ask you for one very important, low-effort favor before you pass out? I'm listening. Get Ruby a sample of your dad's hair. That I can do. You and Tristan arrive at the Tender Goose at sunset. The restaurant is immaculate, but an intimate and exclusive retreat for Dracovia's most powerful. There she is. Astrid sits at a table overlooking Dracos Bay. Her phone in hand, the setting sun cast a golden glow over her, making her look like a goddess. She looks over, her hair tumbling artfully over one shoulder, and raises a hand at you. Tristan and, you! Over here! You've been living in her palace for over a month. She knows Chloe's name. She's just pulling a power play. I'd respect her more if it was just, but that's a decent chance she'd never bothered to learn it in the first place. Astrid stands as you approach the table. A signet ring on her left hand flashes as she makes a show of kissing Tristan on the cheek. The killer wears their signet ring on the left hand too, but could Astrid have been strong enough to leave its imprint on Sebastian's neck? Tristan, I'm so psyched that you finally want a double date with me. And with this one. Astrid puts her hands daintily on your shoulders and kisses the air beside both of your cheeks. Look at you, you're gorgeous. You are Mag so well. And this sexy little secret relationship thing? I knew you two were more than just coworkers. Tristan always looks at you the way Esteban Cabrera used to look at me. I thought Tristan might have fallen into the same kind of tragic, unrequited crush situation as Bass. God, was he so sad? She finally pauses, as though waiting for a response. Oh good, you're done. I was afraid I'd accidentally bought tickets for a monologue. Astrid laughs, slapping Tristan's arm a little too hard. You are so funny. Isn't he funny? She looks at you, her expected gaze, a clear invitation to jump into the conversation. Astrid? He always makes me laugh. The acerbic wit always keeps me on my toes. Thank you, darling. I'm so relieved I could find someone who understands my sense of humor. Oh, so cute. It's practically sickening. I hope your date tonight is equally as titillating. Astrid, where is he, by the way? Oh, he'll be here any minute. He's an absolute genius, though he is feeling a little stuck on his latest project. But not to worry, that's where I come in. How exactly do you plan to help? With inspiration, love, the immortalization of passion through art. Tristan attempts to conceal a snort of laughter with a call. Astrid ignores him, glancing towards the door with a beaming expression. He's here! He pushes away from the table and flounces over her to greet a handsome, somewhat greasy man. He takes her hand, kissing it demurely. Oh, God. Oh, it could have been anybody. Seriously, it could have been anybody. Why do I know that face? Because it's been burned into our memory. He's the unfortunate soul Ruby distracted Astrid with at the fashion show. Astrid's there with Dominique Zima? God, I'm good. Lifesaver and matchmaker. You need to put that on your business cards. Focus, kids. What do we know about the guy? He's a very intense indie darling, working on his first big studio film. People online worry he's selling out. Is he? Absolutely, he's known for making grungy erotic thrillers, but his new film sounds like a stock standard action heist. I think I'd like for the words grungy and erotic to never appear in the same sentence again. You and me both. You smirk as Astrid brings Dominique to the table. Dominique bows deeply. Meet my brother and the Crown Prince of Dracovia. An honor, your highness. And this is Tristan's secret lover. Also known as Detective Chloe Rose. Ah, my favorite type of storyline. It's a privilege to meet such an attractive secret, Detective Rose. And we know who you are, of course. It's an honor to meet such a successful filmmaker. Tony curls his lips at the word successful. And what is success? Working on a soulless, sexless studio picture? Yes, then I am successful. Looks like they screen Dominic Zima's films pretty regularly at the indie cinemas downtown. There's a midnight staple. He has a serious cult following in America. That's how he got this new project. You smile apologetically at him. I was referring to how often I see your name on the indie cinema pavilions back home. My local cinema screams your movies at midnight all the time. Oh, well, my mistake. I didn't realize you were a connoisseur. I didn't realize you lived in such an artistic part of New York, Chloe. I'm sure don't live on the Upper East Side. All this talking is keeping the waitstaff and their generous champagne flutes away. Shall we order? Before you get too cozy, Chloe, I've just finished assembling a dossier on Astrid. It would help you enough to snag some of their DNA. Excuse yourself from the table if you want me to send it, though. You exchange a look with Tristan. He nods subtly, clearly on board with the idea. Yay, some dossier fun. Can someone point me in the direction of the bathroom? Astrid points to a curtained hallway with one long, perfect nail. Make sure to powder your nose from a friend. Your pores are looking a little greasy. Of course. Thanks, Astrid. Tristan raises his eyebrows in anticipation, his voice still in your ear as you slip away. So, Dominic, tell me about this sexual film of yours. You smile and head towards what appears to be a very extravagant sitting room on the way to the bathroom. You sit down on the tuft couch, quickly pulling out your phone. Your dossier is ready in your inbox. Read the contents under your breath for Tristan's benefit. Is it really a benefit? Occupation, professional muse, whatever the hell that means. Significant relationship. Esteban, composer Justine Diaz, textile artist. Okay, so basically a bunch of people. Notes, a fixture of Dracovian gossip pages thanks to her whirlwind high-profile romances, no known aliases within her family, seems equally unpopular with all siblings, a suspect in the murder of Baek Eun-ji's ex-boyfriend, Chao Dong-yin, but never charged. Murder remains unsolved. Baek Eun-ji has been writing poetry about a dangerous goddess ever since. Accomplishment. Nothing on her own merit, but there's a recorded phenomenon of her exes winning awards after dating her. There was a whole social media accounts devoted to the conspiracy, some evidence that the partners seek Astrid out of her golden touch. Okay. That was completely pointless, but hear Tristan snort over the earpiece. That's the abridged list of relationships? Oh, those are her partners from the last 2 years. It looks like Astrid's been serially dating artists since she was 21 years old. Luke has a full list here. It's long, and you don't want it. Why artists? Do they have anything else in common? Just one. Most of them were unknown or struggling before Astrid got her golden claws into them. You're not telling me they're all superstars now? I'm not sure there's really such a thing as a superstar textile artist. But they all have become known in their field. Whatever Astrid's doing for them, it works. So, why the high turnover? She keeps dumping him. Hang on. I've compiled a bunch of interviews with her exes. Here Luke's fingers tapping on his keyboard. Here they are. They all say pretty much the same thing. The dating Astrid was a passionate dream. She was so perfectly matched to them that they were inspired in a way that they never had been before. What does that mean? Vic Enges gives an idea. She said that Astrid was a mirror, reflecting the true nature back at her. In loving Astrid, she learned to love herself. And what allowed her to write the poetry collection that shot her to fame? Well, fame for a poet. And once NG was finished with it, Astrid dumped her. She dumps everyone once their magnum opus is complete. Interesting. But she didn't get to dump Gregor. Yep, he's the only person I can see that ended things with her. It must be why she's still so mad at Lydia. She did sleep with someone else while he was on stage. A very dumpable offense, unless you have an agreement in place. Her appetites aside, that means Astrid didn't get to pull off whatever project she had in mind for Gregor. That must have made her angry. Angry enough to kill Nadja after she saw her in the garden? It's a possibility, it's just not a great one. Is there any more information on the murder she was accused of that was NG's partner, right? Right. Word is that the ex had been hanging around trying to woo her back while Astrid was on the scene. Kinda sounds like he had a real problem with NG moving on with a woman. Charming. How did he die? He was found floating in a nearby river. Blunt force trauma to the side of the head and water in his lungs. The killer likely pushed him into the water to drown. And that's how Juliana died. And there were no attempts to hide the body? None. He was found the next morning and the police suspected Astrid right away, but I'm guessing the police weren't keen on arresting a princess. There wasn't any physical evidence, at least none that the properly preserved, and NG refused to testify. But after Astrid dumped her, she wrote a book of poetry full of murderous imagery, passionate sex, and vengeful goddesses. So, NG believes she did it, even if she won't say that. You flick back to the curtain to view the table. Astrid has both arms wrapped around Dominic's biceps, staring into his eyes like he's the only thing in the restaurant. Do you guys remember what Astrid said at Tristan's trial? About how love makes you crazy enough to kill? Seems a lot more ominous in hindsight. She also mentioned waking up covered in blood wasn't unusual for her. When the hell was that mentioned? I forget that. Tristan clears his throat and touches his ear. You see his lips move, but hear his voice through your earpiece. I wonder where Chloe's gotten to. That's my cue. Thanks, you two. This was insightful. Anytime. Now, go get that DNA sample. Saliva's good, hair's better. Blood is unlikely. You swipe the dossier from your screen and tuck your phone away. When you finally arrive back at the table, Astrid sizes you up, her eyes shrewd with suspicion. Are you okay? You were gone a while. Your pores weren't that bad. Sorry about that. IBS. I don't know, how long were we gone? My uncle called. So it's none of your business. Are you close with your uncle? Very. He's the only family I have left. Ah, you've had a tragic life then. This makes a person far more interesting, I think. While you mine my date's life story for inspiration, shall we order? While Astrid bombards the waiter with a heavy list of modifications, you catch Tristan's eye. He leans in, lowering his voice. How much do you think we can discover before my little sister puts her tongue in this man's ear at the table? Astrid runs a slow hand down his arm, then rests her chin on his shoulder. Her lips brush his cheek. Astrid seems to put a lot of stock in passion. She might respond well if I match her energy. That is a high-level PDA. Why don't we follow suit, Tristan? Wrap an arm around Tristan's neck, brushing your lips to his ear. Do we want to be a believable couple after all? Tristan turns his head, letting his lips meet yours. Anything for the investigation. Oh, careful, you two. The tablecloth might catch fire from all those sparks you're throwing out. Ah, yes. That is what is missing from the studio picture, is it not? Charisma, passion. Give me 2 stars who look at each other like you two do. Or like Astrid looks at me. Excuse me, but should I give you a few more minutes to decide? No, I have chosen. I will start with oysters, but I will require you to add chili, pepper, and pomegranate to the mignonette sauce. I hope you're feeding one to me. Oysters are my favorite. They're so sensual. I thought you hated oysters, Astrid. If I recall correctly, you called them snot on a rock at a state dinner. You did? Annoyance flickers in her eyes. She covers it by taking a sip of water. Tristan recalls incorrectly. That was probably Patrick. Astrid placates Dominic, her hands smoothing the crisp edges of his jacket. He changes the subject as the waiter leaves. Are you sure you two only met at the fashion show? You seem so at ease with each other. I would have remembered if I met Astrid before. The experience would have been burned into my very cells. That's how love is. If you don't know within seconds of meeting that you tear your clothes off in public for them, what's the point? I think true love means you'd murder for them. That's a bold statement for a cop. Detective, I was dismissed from the force. Well, that's awfully interesting of you. So tell me, who have you killed for Tristan? I haven't had the chance yet, but when I find out who tried to set him up for Juliana and Nadja's murders, they'll be on a countdown. It's so sweet, darling. I love that, and trust me, the more you love the person you're killing for, the more agonizing the death. Trust you. Okay, little secret? Oh boy. Astrid leans across the table. Once a lover of mine was being bothered by her ex. Like, calling me crying in the night bothered me because he was gross bothered. So I caught him by the river, gave him a little tap on the temple, just enough that he couldn't save himself when he took a tumble in the water. So, you saved someone you love. Good for you. Dominic grabs Astrid's hands, his eyes shining with lust. I wish I could have seen it, my magnificent avenging angel, a rare delicacy of love and righteous wrath. If this guy eats a fig while staring meaningfully at Astrid later, you have to tell me. I do look hot mid-murder. It's a shame. I've only gotten the chance to do it once. Yeah, we're all buying that line. Murder princess. Astrid moves her empty water glass out of the way as the waiter returns with a bottle of wine. A smear of her lipstick marks the rim. There's probably some saliva on that rim. Speaking of rare delicacies, Chloe, how'd you maneuver yourself in the path of Crown Prince? She snagged me while I was on discount. Ah, the disgraced royal. A very interesting story. Take out all the murder and lines of succession, and our love story is pretty standard. I didn't even know he was a prince when we met. I remember it like it was yesterday. Wow. Do you even know how many people would totally murk their besties to be in your shoes? And you just lucked into it. I'm gonna be so sad when you two have to break up, huh? Oh, they're breaking up. A pang of dread pulses through you at her implication. You ignored it and focused on her forgotten water glass instead. We're not breaking up. Oh, come on, Tristan. It's not like you can just marry an American. Mom and Lydia would never stand for it. Chloe would wake up one morning with a knife in her neck, or, not wake up. Doom, secret love, magnificent. My next independent feature should be heavily inspired by the two of you. Maybe you should stick to your own love affairs and leave mine out of it. You inch towards Astrid's side of the table while everyone's distracted. If you can just get that glass... Pull the tablecloth towards me. Slowly, carefully tugging the tablecloth your way, bringing Astrid's glass within reach. Yoink! But Astrid flips her hair with a grand flourish of her arm, knocking the glass to the floor. Whoopsie! Damn it! Wait! Dominic leaps to his feet, staring intently at the shattered glass. My film. Is that glass a broken thing? Of use to nobody? He takes Astrid's hand and lavishes it with a disturbingly wet kiss. But with my muse to guide me, I see now how it might be reforged into something I can be proud to put my name to. We must go to set now. We haven't even eaten. But Dominique is already pulling a laughing Astrid to her feet and towards the entrance. You jump up, grabbing Tristan as they disappear from view. Put on a happy face, partner. If we want that DNA sample, we're going to have to extend the date. A short while later, you, Tristan, Astrid wait in the dressing room as Dominique frantically rewrites the scene on his laptop. An exhausted-looking crew returns to their positions. Everyone gather. Let me bestow upon you my vision. But we started at 4 a.m. Was a 16-hour day not enough? Dominic hands her his laptop, pointing feverishly towards the office before running back to you. We are shooting the cold open of the film with some adjustments. Our heroine, now played by Astrid Thorne. He allows a moment for the crew to applaud. They do so a beat too late in the half-hearted way. Dom, are you serious? The assembled crowd mutters in disbelief. Astrid smiles regardless. Astrid, I'm sure they're just tired. They don't mean it. Oh, it's so cute of you to think of my feelings, but I don't care what they think of me. You don't? No, I care what Dominic thinks. He thinks I'm the key to unlocking the potential of his movie. And he's right. She turns to the crowd, addressing them with a hand on her heart. Thank you for your support. It's an honor to make my debut for you all. Astrid will swoop into the scene and seduce our CEO while her partner in crime robs the safe. The studio won't like it, and I say to hell with them. But before we can see any of the skin you're so terrified of, the CEO's assistant will burst into the room. The fight will ensue. Recasting the heroine means reshooting what we've already done, filmed, Dominic. I don't think... If you cannot accept my direction, you can leave. This beautiful, sensual woman is how we will save this vanilla pudding of a film. This beautiful woman has had another idea, Dominic. She presses herself against him, whispers in his ear. He takes a deep, satisfied breath, his eyes glazing over. Yes, yes, Tristan, Chloe. You must appear in the scene alongside Astrid. The chemistry between the three of you will make it sing. You want us to act in a movie? Why not? You'd make a very seducible CEO. Tristan clears his throat and leans close to you, lowering his voice. This might be our best opportunity to get that DNA sample. Yes, oh my god, Chloe, you have to be in this trashy movie, please. I like her dress. If it helps Dominic realize his vision, sure, we're game. I knew Amika was wrong about you. Tristan, you'll be perfect as Astrid's partner in crime. You'll be focusing on cracking the safe. Given that the other options are being seduced by or punching my own sister, I'll take that as a compliment. Don't be such a prude, Tristan. The Thorns have always been accused of wilder things. Not this Thorn. And Chloe, I believe you would be equally compelling as the CEO Astrid will be seducing. Or the assistant who comes to conquer her. will be the CEO. I can pull a powerful pose when I need to. Oh, seducing you will be fun. Perfect. Where are those pages? He snaps his fingers and the assistant rushes over to you and thrusts a scene into your hand. Thankfully, there's not much dialogue to memorize. There'll be room for some improv, but make sure you get these down while you're in makeup. Go, 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 go! You heard my genius. Let's get powdered and ready. Are we seriously going to be kissing Astrid? Before you know it, you, Tristan, and Astrid are being ushered into a luxurious office set. Chloe, I need you behind the desk. Tristan, Astrid, you wait outside the to enter on my mark. You nudge Tristan with a wry smile. Break a leg. Enjoy the seduction. I know I will. Just threw up in my mouth. You take a seat behind the desk, trying not to look at the searing lights trained on you, the 30 or so people standing behind the cameras. And we're rolling in action! You focus on your paperwork, thinking powerful thoughts while the door bursts open. What's the meaning of this? Didn't your assistant tell you? I'm near 3 o'clock. She slinks across the office and crawls onto the desk. She perches over you like a siren, hunger in her eyes. You're my 3 o'clock. I asked my assistant to clear my schedule. Then he neglected to call me and let me know. You wouldn't turn me away now that I'm here, would you? She slips off the desk and into your lap, wrapping her legs around your waist and taking your face in her hands. Behind her, Tristan slips into the room and makes for the safe. This is most unusual. Astrid moves against you, her strong fingers on your cheeks, keeping your eyes trained on her. Unusual doesn't have to mean bad, does it? Your breath catches as she leans in closer, pressing her body against yours. Her lips are so close you can almost taste them. Unless you like it bad. We gotta get the DNA, God help us. You bury one hand into her hair and pull her close, your lips meeting hers with abandon. Astrid doesn't miss a beat. She kisses you back with so much passion your head spins. Her tongue meets yours, her nails raking across your skin. You moan against your will. Who are you? You don't need to know. For you forget what you came here to do. You wrap one of her hairs around your finger and tug. Astrid pulls away from you with a flinch. Ow! Cut! Sorry. No, it's fine. I just didn't realize you were going to get so invested in the scene. That was hot. That was upsetting. Oh my god, Tristan, don't be jealous. It's only acting. Make eye contact with him and nod, letting him know you have the hair. Is that it? Are we done? No, you silly king. That was only the coverage shot. We're gonna need this from every angle. Do you even know how movies work, Tristan? I try to show interest in your passions. That was great, though. Let's reset and take it again. Can we say no and just leave because we have her hair? Hours later, Dominique finally calls a wrap on the scene. You return to the crisp night air of the Dracos canals. Wonderful work, everyone, especially you, Chloe. He hands you a business card. In case you're ever looking for a career change or a producer's credit, I wasn't joking about basing my next movie on you and the prince. Thanks, Dominic. Maybe this will be my big break. Acting might be a nice change of pace from murder investigations. I can see how you think that, but I warn you, it's a bloody industry. You mean metaphorically? No, not even a little. You tuck the card away and turn to Astrid. She wraps you in a surprisingly warm hug. I'm so glad you came out with us tonight. As far as I'm concerned, you're one of the family now. Thanks, Astrid. He presses a kiss to your cheek, her voice dropping to a velvet whisper. Just make sure you burn that business card. You call my man for any reason, and I'll be very, very upset. You raise an eyebrow, she releases you and bounces back to Dominique. What was that about? I just got welcomed in the family and threatened in the same breath. Ah, well, the authentic Thorn experience. Shall we? You seal Astrid's hair into an evidence bag. We've got the hair, Ruby. What now? My equipment's ready to go. Luke and I will meet you back at the palace, and we can get testing. When will we have the results? Not until tomorrow morning at the earliest. Are we taking bets yet? Who do you think the imposter is? I'm honestly gonna lean towards Lydia. Or not Lydia, excuse me. I'm gonna lean away from her because she willingly, in front of us, gave her blood on a dagger. Well, on a handkerchief from a dagger, but... So, out of the two, Astrid. Lydia was right. If it's Astrid, there's a compelling case that we didn't consider before. Either way, we'll know the truth soon. The next morning, you and Tristan await Ruby's news in the garden. Tristan takes your hand, winding his fingers through yours. Careful, we're not pretending to be a secret couple anymore. Tristan raises your hand to his lips, kissing each of your knuckles. No. Now we're just living it. Chloe, Tristan! You look up and see Ruby and Marjorie racing across the courtyard. Luke lags behind, unable to keep up. You have the results? Ruby breathlessly thrusts a printout into his hands. The illegitimate child is... Lydia? Astrid shares DNA markers with your father, but Lydia? The 0% match. Maybe Lydia doesn't know. Luke finally reaches you, hands on his knees as he gasps for breath. This means Astrid isn't guilty, right? It means we have some confronting news to give Lydia. We can't make any assumptions. We looked into a lead on a possible motive, and we have our answer. And now we have to tell Lydia that her mother's little secret. Oh, I bet she already knows. You need to get to the legislative building. Vasily's called an emergency session to vote on the Act of Heir equality, or equity. Then Lydia disappeared. She set us up. Sent us on a goose chase while she planned something to stop Vasily from passing the act. And now he's pushed it ahead of schedule. You have to protect him. I won't lose another brother. You and Tristan arrive at the legislative building less than 10 minutes later. You burst into the chambers, hand on your taser, only to stop short at the sound of the Queen's proclamation. The Act of Heir Equity passes with a 3/4 majority. From this day forward, every child of a reigning monarch will join the line of succession in the order of their birth. Thunderous applause rolls over the chamber. You frown, able to see Vasily beaming from the royal box, but not Lydia. The bill passed. Vasily looks so happy. I can understand how this would be a bittersweet moment, but I don't see any bitter. Vasily stands beaming at the voters and takes the Queen's place at the podium. Thank you, all of you, for making the right decision today. The road to legislation has been a long one, the path strewn with obstacles and tragedy in equal measure. Juliana Gregesco, Nadja Zorik, and Sebastian Thorne were three of Jacobia's brightest young minds. Something about the way Vasily says their names makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Like these people were items to be checked off a to-do list. By passing this legislation, you have ensured that their tragic legacy will echo throughout our history, just like the song of the Dracovian nightingale. Chloe, the whistle. Your blood runs cold as you think back to the foreboding carved whistle you found in Juliana's bedroom. The nightingale, the symbol of star-crossed lovers. Vasily gave it to her. We had it all wrong. The killer wasn't trying to squash the act for equity. He was ensuring it passed. You look at Vasily, ice spreading through your veins as you realize just how far Vasily has gone, how blind you've been to his ambition. I stand before you today, second in line to the throne, to pledge to serve our great nation in all I do. For the first time, Vasily's eyes fall on Tristan. You see the unbridled flicker of loathing just behind his affable smile. And to protect it from anyone who would cause Dracovia harm. Is anyone really surprised by this? Anybody? So remember to like, share, and subscribe if you did enjoy the content. And without further ado, you finally, most likely, have a notion of who the killer is. We're not locking in just yet. But it certainly is an interesting notion. I've been asking, as we've went through this for now 14 chapters, which it looks like Choices is really wanting to speed this book up all of a sudden, which is quite unfortunate. Looks like chapter 15 comes out tomorrow, and 16 comes out Friday, so it looks like they're, quite frankly, trying to speed this up, which is kind of unfair, because I actually enjoyed this book. It was actually halfway decent and fun. Kind of like the first book. But I digress. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. What do you guys think? Will this be it? So I checked into the title of the chapter 16, I believe. It doesn't say, it doesn't put everything like hanging it from a pin and going, well, we put a pin in it, that's it, it's done, it's over. Will there be a book 3? We'll never know. Or will we? Wah, wah, wah. That's about it. I got plenty of other work to do. So, thanks for watching. Catch y'all later. Peace out.